What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to the channel, guys. So today we're going to be talking about my Mithrala rebuild. So basically, a while back I got Mithrala. I think everybody's going to eventually get Mithrala if you play the game long enough. I mean, you can literally get her from just doing normal Hydra. It's going to take a long time if you're just getting 1 to 2 fragments, but hey, you could eventually get her. So Mithrala is a champion who I think has a ton of different builds. I did a YouTube community post a few days ago asking where people actually use Mithrala, and there was a lot of different answers. Some people said to apply Hex on the Head of Mischief to allow for single target attacks, allow for targeting the Head of Mischief. Some people use her in Doom Tower, some people use her in the arena, 3v3, Faction Wars. Obviously, a lot of people probably do in Faction Wars, but a lot of different areas. Somebody even said for a 1-key Ultra Nightmare Clan Boss team, which is pretty cool too. So I personally started using Mithrala when I first got her. I used her quite a bit. I used her in my Platinum Arena defense, which I didn't really use when I actually pushed. But a lot of players, you will notice, do have Mithrala in their arena defenses, especially come plat reset time. So Mithrala is an amazing defense champion, but I changed my defense up quite a bit. And my win-loss is kind of bad because we got a little bit of an issue right now. My Siphi is, let's see what her stats look like. Oh, she's naked. Okay, so there's a little bit of an issue going on right now, but the defense usually does pretty decent. So this is kind of what I run. So either way, I basically haven't been using Mithrala whatsoever. She's been in the vault, which I feel weird about throwing a Void Legendary champion who was a champion you kind of had to grind for, who I know is good, into the vault. So what I did today on stream is actually spent a little while trying to figure out a good team to actually use Mithrala in. That made sense for me, made sense for my account, and I figured, hey, let's share this with you guys because it's not really a go second team. It's kind of like a go 1.5 team, okay? So like you're not going first, but you're not going second. You're cutting in on the enemy, and then you're going. So it's not really go second. Go second typically implies that you're, taking the beating and then you're giving back a beating. You got to survive the initial hit. This team is designed very different. So this team is designed to counter fast Kymar Siphi, Kymar Arbiter, things like that. Hegemon counters that perfectly fine, no issues whatsoever. The one thing you want to make sure to counter Hegemon, you need to make sure that your Mithrala is either in Stone Skin gear, immunity gear, or untouchable gear. You basically want block debuffs in case the Hegemon applies stun, fear, sleep, not fear, stun, sleep, taunt, whatever it may be. So make sure he's geared like that. This is just an example. So here we have Mithrala, we have Kymar in the lead because I was noticing I'm a little bit too slow to go against some of these teams, so I needed the Kymar Speed Aura to help me out a little bit. If you don't have Kymar, you can use Sathalia. Basically, the goal of Kymar is Mithrala cleanses, Kymar comes in, strips, and puts him to sleep, but you can use Sathalia. I literally used Sathalia earlier, and it was actually really good. Sathalia is a very good substitute for Kymar. Granted, if you do that, you need to make sure your damage dealer has maybe 2 strong, hard-hitting abilities. Rhodos, Kandrifon, Leo, all very, very solid options. There's a lot more too. Gaius is actually a very good option as well. And then Molly. Molly is here to increase turn meter from her passive ability. Very, very good. And on cut-in teams like this, this is a very, very valuable ability. She's kind of a free champion. I guess a free champion for whales. I mean, if you have the tokens from the faction Guardian thing, the Guardian Ring, then you could trade them in to get a Molly. I don't necessarily know if that's worth it. Probably not. But hey, let's jump in here. Let's do a few matches, and then I'll explain the team and how it works a little bit more. So the first one up, we're going to be using a Rhodos. Rhodos, honestly, I gotta admit something to you guys, okay? I feel kind of bad admitting this, but he was my most wanted champion. I pulled him, tried to use him, stopped using him, and then almost vaulted him. I mean, he wasn't actually in my vault, but like I basically stopped using him, which felt so incredibly weird. So we're going to try to use him in this team. Now, unfortunately, I have the block active skills on Rhodos, so we're going to try to kill a Kymar. Probably can. We have decreased attack as well. However, with Kymar in the team, we reset cooldowns, we cleanse everything, and then hopefully my Rhodos can come back and actually do something. Maybe. Okay, here we go. Now we can kill the Siphi. Now we can take out the... Who do we want to take out now? Let's say Hegemon, because Hegemon's the one who's blocking my active skills. So there we go. Not too bad whatsoever. The other two should just clean it up. So Molly's doing Provoke. We have Mithrala for Hex, spreading Rhodos' damage, but more importantly, petrifying them when they attack me. We have Kymar sleeping and resetting, and then Rhodos doing very hard-hitting damage. Kandrifon, Leo, Skullcrown. Obviously, the damage dealer needed is going to heavily depend on where you're actually at in the arena. I tried my best to actually push up to a level that was fairly competitive. I don't love testing these videos against players who are like level 86. While it makes for a video that makes it look like I'm doing really good, it doesn't give you guys a very good comparison on how this team actually would do. So let me scroll through here just a little bit more. We're going to find one more team to give an example against. Warlord. Oh man, Warlord is a champion who, you know how to counter him? Bring another Warlord. That's really the only way to counter him. You got to bring a better, faster, stronger Warlord, which is ridiculous. I hate it so much. So here we go. This isn't going to work amazing because this team has Mithrala, who I probably won't be able to strip. I'll give it a shot, but it may look a little weird. So if it does, don't think too much of it. We don't have a res on the team, so if we kill the Leo, it should be perfectly fine. Granted, a team like this, you got to be very mindful. You need something to counter the Leo. Rhodos does counter Leo very well, so that's perfectly fine. But that's very weird. So the Kymar didn't use the ability that I wanted him to use. So I'm just going to use the A2. Very risky because I'm risking proccing Cycle of Revenge on anybody. There we go. Perfect. This is actually going pretty smooth now. Let's hope we actually get a turn from Rhodos. Okay, got the fear on him. Maybe Mithrala cuts in. We're going to YOLO this. Should I? Mithrala's already cleansed. I think we don't YOLO the True Fear proccing. Okay, it wouldn't have procced. Surprise, surprise. We're going to cleanse with Mithrala here and get back to Rhodos' turn. We will use this boost just because it boosts turn meter. I don't really care that much about resetting the ability. I do need to, but I really just want to kill the Leo as soon as possible, ideally. So we're going to put another shield on, do another cleanse, kill the Leo. Boom, there we go. Go ahead and take out the Lady Kimmy. Maybe. Oh, see, the Hex knocked over Kymar. I love that. I think the Hex is so cool. The changes to Hex, I think they're very, very nice. So here, now we just kind of sit and wait till we get back around to actually kill the Mithrala. Now with this team, guys, there's one thing. Actually, let's go ahead and jump into the actual team overview and how the team's built. And then we'll jump into doing some more matches after that. So there's a very, very important thing that I have to tell you guys about this team. So we'll talk about some substitutions after we jump back into the, after we finish going over the gear. So come in here, look at the gear, the builds, the the two number one things, okay? Doesn't really make sense, but just follow along, all right? Make sure your first 3 champions to go are very close in speed if you're using Kymar. So Mithrala is my fastest, 273. Next is Kymar. He's going to strip, 269. Very close. I'd rather him be closer. I'd rather be 273 and 273, honestly. Mithrala is still going to be a little faster because of her base speed. The third champion, if you're using Kymar, you need them to be very close in speed. She's 264. Kymar, like I said, is 269. So a little bit of a speed gap. I have seen people cut in on that, which is crazy. So make sure they're very close. Now, if you're using a champion like Sathalia, who's actually going to, decrease the enemy's turn meter, increase your turn meter, then you can run your Molly a little bit slower. But to be safe, make sure they're all very close in speed. Another thing, do not use the Cycle of Revenge Mastery. If you use this and the Kymar crits on anybody, on an ally, anything, doesn't matter, it's going to have a 50% chance of increasing your turn meter by 15%. Basically, what this translates to in this team is if an enemy crits, you have a 50% chance of ruining your run. Okay, that's more or less what that team that translates to. Now with Rhodos, that's fine. You can run that Cycle of Revenge Mastery if you really want to, because if he gets boosted turn meter on this team, it's not really going to matter. But I don't have that mastery set up right now, so let's look at the gear that I actually have. So Mithrala, the build that I've changed her to, before she was running slow, she had 3 pieces of gear. Well, 3 pieces of gear because I quit using her for a long time, but she was going slow. She was speed tuned with the entire team. I tried a few different builds, but this one I'm liking so far. So basically, really good HP, because Stone Skin's shield is based off of HP. If you're using immunity or untouchable, same thing, make her tanky. Put some reaction gear. If you're using Stone Skin, you don't need reaction. But if you're using immunity or untouchable, make sure you have plenty of reaction down here at the bottom, because you're going to take some damage, right? So as far as her stats go, make sure she has as much net resistance as possible. So good resistance, good accuracy, you're good to go. Her passive ability makes it very easy. Make sure she's fast. It all depends on where you're at in the arena. If you're trying to push top 20 plat, you're probably not using this team, but you're also probably going to need a very fast Mithrala. If you're in Gold 1, 3v3, you probably don't need 273 speed. You'll probably be outspeeding a lot of the players you go against, honestly, with 273 speed. So Mithrala's first up to go. Second champion to go is going to be Prince Kymar. So Prince Kymar, very close speed, very good accuracy. Now, he's not very good accuracy right now because I haven't 100% decided on this build, but basically good speed, good accuracy, survivability is nice if you can get it. Not a huge deal. Obviously, all these champions are going to be booked, and I definitely recommend booking them if you can, at least on their buff and debuff abilities. So here are the masteries for Kymar. here are the masteries for Mithrala. I'll show you guys the masteries for my, well, Rhodos doesn't really matter, to be honest, because you can use any damage dealer there. These are the masteries for Molly. Rhodos, Candrafon, +4 Ray, Leo, Skullcrown, Seer maybe even. There's a lot of different champions you could use as far as champions in the place of my damage dealer. Literally just a damage dealer. Gala Longbraids, tons and tons of different options. Faceless, if you're using Rhodos, or if you're using Kymar, you could probably even use Faceless. But with Molly, make sure she's speed tuned, give her good accuracy. All these champions are going to need good accuracy. Use all of your perception forge pieces, and maybe you can get this team to work out. But hey, there you go. I'm liking this team so far. It's a very good answer to Siphi, Kymar, Arbiter Kymar, teams like that if you don't already have a good answer, okay? So this team right here, here's another decent example. I can't run this team right here against this team because if I do, they have a chance of stripping all my stone skin, which is a pretty bad day if you ask me. This team, if they strip, that's perfectly fine. However, that Kymar could have more accuracy than I do resistance, which is almost 800 resistance. So he could have more accuracy than I do and could possibly strip my Mithrala, which is going to be a bad day. However, since I have stone skin, it's a 50-50 chance anyways for him to actually strip it, so we'll see. Let's see how this plays out. Now that's kind of weird with the Siphi with the stone skin. I don't think this run's going to work out in my favor. So what I'm going to do is just basically quit the match. Yeah, quitting the match would have been the best option just now. Yeah, we're not going to make it anywhere, okay? So the team wasn't really how I expected them to be. The champions were a lot slower than what I thought they would be. So we'll go ahead and cleanse everything. This Kymar is probably not going to strip much. Okay, he did strip. Okay, let's see what we get with the extra turn. Let's see if we can kill a Siphi. Maybe, probably not, but possibly. Okay, we did kill a Siphi. Let's see what we can do here. The Necrit's got stone skin. So annoying. We're going to work down this Rhodos. If Molly was still alive, the match could actually be saved. Since Molly's dead, obviously, the match may have a little bit of a difficult time being saved. We'll reset everything. Get the sleep from Kymar. Not a huge deal because we're just going to cleanse that. We'll go in and try to kill the Necrit. I don't think we're going to be able to. Maybe just kill Kymar here because I can one-shot him, I know. And then we will try to do some damage to Necrit over there. We did not do anything to him whatsoever. The Rhodos is going to come in, and it's going to be my Mithrala and Rhodos versus his +4 Rhodos and +3 Necrit. I got a feeling I know who's going to win, but, you know, I'm not 100% sure. Stranger things have happened. Let's see. Gonna kill the Necrit. There we go. Boom. My Rhodos versus his Rhodos. Let's take some HP from him. There we go. Oh. There we go. There we go. The battle of the wallets. The smaller 1/1. +4+. Honestly, I was expecting him to. Okay, it was not an empowered Necrit, thankfully. If it was an empowered Necrit, that would have been bad. But a minute 27 against a team like that, honestly, that wasn't a team that I would definitely risk. I wouldn't recommend fighting that team. But that was actually surprising to me, to be honest. Very surprising, obviously. So a team like that, I wouldn't be able to beat it with my other teams. And obviously, I beat it with that one. All right, guys. So let's jump in here real quick and talk about a few substitutions you can make. Now, I do think this is going to be one of the better setups you could do. But there are some other options you could have. So basically, instead of Kymar, I think you could use champions like Sathalia, champions like Gurgo the Augur. They're going to do strip and freeze. Basically, the idea of this second to go champion is somehow either manipulate the enemy's turn meter. You really want to strip because strip is going to allow you to place the provoke from Molly, which is so valuable. You could maybe even do a champion like Madame Saris, make her really fast. It'd be very close, so it may not be the best, but you could strip, make sure Molly's right next to turn meter with Madame Saris, and then boom, you can have the provoke place right after that, and you should be good to go. So basically, any champion who's going to allow you to stay speed tuned right after Mithrala goes is going to be a very solid option. Strips are going to be so valuable. Molly is not very replaceable, to be honest, because Molly is boosting the turn meter. Now, she is replaceable if you're pretty fast. So you gotta be very careful. You gotta realize if you're replacing Molly, you're losing the 15% turn meter boost, you're losing the res, and you're losing the provoke. So if you drop Molly, you'll have to rebuild the team a little bit, adjust it slightly, or just make your champion even faster. So if you're Mithrala, if you get her to be 300 speed, then you may not even need the Molly whatsoever. But for me, 273 Mithrala going against probably champions who are like 350, 360, maybe even 370 as far as the Sifis go, I really need to be much faster than what I currently am. At least I think so. Now I can try it without Molly. We can actually try this one without Molly. So I'll go ahead and jump in here. Maybe we just throw Necrit in there just for the heck of it. Now Necrit is not needed, okay? Honestly, let's not do that. We'll just get trolled in the comments below if I do that. So instead of Molly, let's just use a Sathalia. I mean, Thalia maybe does decent instead of Molly. Let's see. So we're not going to have the turn meter boost, but we will be 30% speed from Kymar anyways. If you don't have Kymar and you're going pretty slow a lot of times, you may want to use a champion like a damage dealer who does a 19% speed aura like Skull Crown, right? Ginbo, there's a few others I think, but you can always use one of those champions in that lead spot. So as far as damage dealer goes, really depends on where you're at in the arena, where your level's at. If you're newer, lower level arena, then you can use a lower quality damage dealer. But if you're higher, you may need to use your Rotos, your Leo, champions like that. Champions are going to hit very hard, but also having reaction gear on them is going to be pretty helpful because you do want to make sure you can actually take a hit, because if you just get destroyed, if they do take a turn, it's obviously going to be for the worst. So with this team, ideally, they don't actually hit you. Ideally, you just cut in from the Kymar, boom, and you're good to go. May not always happen like that. So we got to see here. We are going to strip them perfect. We should reduce their turn meter like this. So there are other options instead of Molly. Felt a little bit weird. I was a little bit nervous, not going to lie. See if we can kill him. Okay, we did kill him. Perfect. We'll try to kill a Siffy. I really need to kill a Siffy. Because if I don't kill Siffy, then Hefrak's just going to mess me up when it comes back. So we'll use this A2. Hopefully he gets petrified. If he gets petrified, it's GG's from there. So we'll reset. Boom. Actually, that actually worked out pretty good. So if you have a fast champion, you could very easily use, well, Thalia instead of Molly until that happens. And the game just freezes up on you. So there's a few ideas for substitutions. Obviously, instead of Mithrala, well, if you use something instead of Mithrala, then you're not really using the team that I'm talking about. But you could use champions like Rio. You could use champions like Cardiel. Any fast champion who can cleanse will work in this team perfectly fine. Build them very similar, stack their resistance. It'll be harder to get their resistance very high, but you could do the same thing as far as a champion who cleanses. So guys, that is the new team that I'm going to be using. I've been enjoying it. Let's see if with Molly, if the team would have done any differently. So we'll go ahead and throw her in there. We'll just do the same thing, turn on auto, and then we'll go ahead and wrap this thing up, guys. So thank you all for watching. Hopefully it gave you a new idea on a new team, new perspective. Maybe you can try some different things out. Let me know if you have any questions. Leave them down below. Be more than happy to answer them. Let's see. So we cut in, I feel like, sooner. Go ahead and strip everybody. Place provoke on everybody. Siffy is being a rebel, not taking the provoke. So I really need to kill her. But if I do, Hefrak's going to kill me. We do have strengthen, so he may not actually kill me. Okay, he didn't kill me through strengthen. Perfect. I was kind of wondering if he'd actually do that or not. So we'll just hope to kill him eventually, maybe someday. Oh my gosh, Roto's proccing so many extra turns. Wow. He is absolutely insane. So obviously, we had a little bit of RNG on my side there. But hey, it worked out. We reset, and then Rotos comes in with that hard-hitting A3 ability again. I'm beginning to feel like Rotos is just a broken champion. What in the world? But guys, all right, there you go. Thank you. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Thank you all for watching. Best of luck if you're pulling for shards this weekend, and I will catch you all in the next one.